Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica Gonzalez, Director of the Galapagos program at Animal Balance. In this session, I am excited to share our experience of over 20 years working in the Galapagos Islands. We talk about how we work to humanely manage the dog and cat populations and to protect this beautiful ecosystem. Let's start with this important question. What happens after population control starts working? Most humane population management programs are designed around one main goal, which is increasing sterilization coverage. And reaching 70 or 80% is usually a huge success for these kind of programs. But after more than 20 years of work in the Galapagos Islands, we started asking ourselves different questions. What happens after control starts working? What happens when the population begins to stabilize? How do we protect the progress over the time? How do we prevent a rebound? And how do we maintain long term stability in a place where conservation, tourism, community dynamics, and animal welfare are all deeply connected? So, why the Galapagos? Well, it is an incredible, fragile ecosystem with a truly unique set of factors. First, there is the breathtaking endemic biodiversity, wildlife you can't find anywhere else on Earth. Because of that, there are strict conservation policies in place. We have, we also have to navigate island dynamics in communities that are deeply dependent on tourism. And on top of all of that, very limited access to veterinary services and some other constraints for the community. So, what we found 20 years ago when we got there first, um, there was a different approach. We realized that there was a traditional approach, top down approach, that was causing some troubles in the community. It led to serious community backlash. Trust was completely broken because locals felt the national park was simply trying to eliminate their pets. And to make this worse, this fear actually triggered pet trafficking. People started smuggling animals onto the islands just to replace the pets they had lost. And and what happened next? The dog and cat populations grew all over again, which in turn put immense pressure on the native species, native and endemic species. And in this scenario is where animal balance stepped in with a different, complete approach. Instead of forcing solutions, we began offering free spay and neuter surgeries, critical veterinary services, education programs, and and the biggest shift was how we viewed the people. Uh, we become a bridge connecting the local authorities with the community itself. So these are some pictures of our first clinics in the islands and how it is to work over that. And after all of these years, the data really speaks for itself. For itself, we have reached 79% of cats sterilized, 73% of dogs sterilized, uh, 67% of these animals are fully vaccinated. And just to give you an idea of the scale, we counted around 800 to 900 pets living in the households of Puerto Villamil in Isabela Island. So, and after all of these years of doing surgery in the Galapagos Islands, we realized that surgery by itself was not enough. Even when we sterilized a large numbers of animals, we saw that the exact same problems could persist. And this is because you cannot have lasting success without a consistent follow up, continuous monitoring, and adequate local legislation in long term reliable access to veterinary services. So we came up with this strategy based on four pillars: free spay neuter and veterinary services, legal framework and advice, coexistent culture, ongoing population monitoring. In contrast to the forced punitive approaches of the past, animal balance built a foundation of trust. And by simply showing up to provide care consistently and entirely for free. In the community's response has been incredible. We now hold an average satisfaction score of 9 out of 10 from the local community in the Galapagos. Even better, we have reached 100% voluntary participation. um, think about this: no one is forcing anyone anymore. Now people come to our clinics completely on their own. And the most beautiful change of all is seeing how pets are now welcomed inside the homes. We've gone from a time where dogs sleep outside on old rice sacks to today where they are treated as true members of the family, sleeping safely inside in, of the house. We didn't achieve any of this alone. Maintaining a long term stability in the Galapagos or anywhere requires a strong network of strategic alliances. At the government level, we work hand in hand with key public institutions such as ABG, which is the Biosecurity Agency, our main our main partner, GABs, who are the city administration, Galapagos government, and the national park. We also collaborate closely with local non governmental organizations. And finally, eh, none of none of this is possible without the support of our funders who believe in this vision. On the legal side, the legal framework, Galapagos is very small but very complex. Galapagos has a unique regulations and especially uh, in special entities as well. In fact, our entire regulatory system is built around protecting nature, conservation. Ecuadorian environmental law requires a municipality to manage urban wildlife as they call to dogs and cats living in towns. And that is exactly how we chip in. We successfully advised the municipality of Isabela on creating a brand new ordinance. Um, it's an approach that is not only more effective but also more compassionate, and we introduced terms as coexistence, but also require spay neuter for all dogs and cats living in the town, uh, banning the commerce or pet trade, and 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 also making pet registration and microchipping mandatory in in the town. And then the task is bringing these rules of coexistence out of the legal text and into the community. And for this, we employ different approaches. No boring stuff. Instead, we focus on real connection. We do field trips with the community, with kids. We offer dog training for both both locals and the municipality staff. We also use art and local stories to connect the message with the people. For example, of World of Coexistence, uh, murals, and even theater plays for coexistence. Another vital piece of our strategy is ongoing population monitoring. We don't just guess our impact, we measure it. Periodic census surveys give us the essential data we need to identify long term trends, monitor our sterilization coverage, and detect any early signs of population rebound. Ultimately, the data is what supports um, our decision making. And to keep our data accurate, we conduct a full dog and cat census every 2 to 3 years. In between those larger efforts, we run smaller surveys every single year, focusing on a smaller part of the population just to confirm that our trends are staying on track. And here is the best part. During these survey visits, we also microchip and register dogs and cats. These help us keep a permanent record of the animals we are protecting. And so this is how it looks today. The changes are clear. We see no free roaming dogs on the streets, fewer dog bite cases, fewer complaints about cat noise at nights, and the municipality has created a dedicated urban fauna unit in charge of dog and cat population management. They also ran the transit center. And just to be clear, this is not a shelter, it is a supportive transit space where dogs wait to be claimed by their owners or adopted into new loving homes. And one of the most interesting parts of this process has been seeing how some of the lessons learned in the Galapagos Islands may also be relevant in different environments. At first glance, California and the Galapagos are worlds apart, but surprisingly, we share the exact same challenges in companion animal management. Both regions face the same big questions. How do we improve access to care? How do we drive community engagement? And how do we maintain population stability over the time? Now, partners in California are looking at our work, exploring how to adapt our maintenance framework to their own local context. And this is not about replicating our model exactly, it is about finding the parts of our approach that can support a sustainable community based strategies anywhere in the world. So this is a wide vision of how this strategy in the US looks like. We develop spay neuter clinics that we call MASH. We are working with legislators to change the laws and to make this process easier. And of course, we generate a cultural change in part, and the product of it is the no birth movement, following the no kill movement. This is all about shifting funding in the US toward prevention, prioritizing spay neuter so we can stop the problem before it starts rather than just reacting to overpopulation. So, just to close, communities change and our strategies must evolve with them. This isn't a rigid solution, it is an approach that adapts through experience and collaboration. Uh, at Animal Balance, we believe the future of humane population management must be locally led. True sustainability cannot depend on outside organizations forever. It depends on local vets, local professionals, institutions, local institutions, having the tools to let the work themselves. that is our next chapter, moving from intervention to true community ownership. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. With that, I would love to hear your thoughts or answer any of your questions.